This is the story of Parks and Recreation in 3 minutes. Let's begin. Or should I say, treat yourself to 3 minutes of friends, waffles, and work. Leslie No, Deputy Director of Parks and Recreation, lives to make a difference in Pawnee, Indiana. Ann Perkins demands the pit behind her house to be filled in. After her boyfriend, Andy Dwyer, fell in and broke his legs, Leslie vows to turn the pit into a park and seeks advice from Mark, a city planner she has a romantic past with. Leslie and her staff, Gary Kirkich, Donna Meagle, Tom Haverford, Ron Swanson, and April Ludwig, try to ramp up support for the park. Ann discovers Andy postponed his cast removal, so she'd keep pampering him. Leslie and Mark share a drunken kiss. Ann leaves Andy for Mark. Tom's green card marriage ends. Andy threatens to sue, and the city fills in the pit. Ron's ex-wife, librarian Tammy 2, tries to seduce Ron into building a library on the filled-in pit. April takes interest in Andy. Ann breaks up with Mark, who leaves City Hall, never to be heard from again. A budget deficit shuts down the local government. State auditors, Chris Traeger, and Ben Wyatt are called in. Andy develops feelings for April. Conflicted, Ann kisses Andy, causing April to leave for Venezuela. Tom catches Ron dating his ex-wife. The government reopens. Leslie revives the Harvest Festival, which is a tremendous success, thanks to Lil Sebastian. Ann and Chris date until he goes back to his old job. Tom dates Tammy 2 to get back at Ron. Andy wins back April, and they get hitched in a surprise ceremony. Leslie and Ben keep their relationship secret due to Chris's workplace romance policy. Tom quits to form an entertainment company with pal John Ralphio. Ron learns his first ex, Tammy 1, has come for him. Leslie runs for city council, ending her relationship with Ben. Tom and John Ralphio's company goes under. Ben and Leslie get back together. The scandal causes Leslie's political advisors to bail, so the Parks Department steps in as her new staff under Ben as campaign manager. Leslie is met with stern opposition from her fellow city council members, particularly Councilman Jam. Andy trains to become a cop. Ron helps Diane fix a pothole, and soon they're dating. Ben turns down a campaign gig to return to Pawnee and propose to Leslie. Tom founds Rent a Swag, renting high-end clothing to teens. Leslie and Ben plan a fundraiser for the Pawnee Commons and have an impromptu wedding that night. Andy fails the cop test. An anonymous person rips off Tom's business concept. Angry locals led by Jam petition for Leslie to be removed from office. A pregnant Diane and Ron hold a shotgun wedding at City Hall. Ann and Chris are also expected. Andy takes a temp job in London. Eagleton goes bankrupt and is absorbed by Pawnee. Leslie loses a recall vote and returns to the Parks Department. Tom reluctantly sells Rent a Swag. Ben becomes city manager when Chris and Ann move to Michigan. Leslie breaks ground on the Pawnee Commons. The Parks Department puts on the Unity concert to help ease the unpopular Eagleton-Pawnee merger. Ron's son is born, but he doesn't mention it. Leslie is pregnant with triplets. Tom's Bistro suffers a disastrous soft opening, but bounces back after hosting the Unity concert after party. Ben wins Pawnee free Wi-Fi from tech company Grizzle by beating them at a board game he created. Jump ahead 3 years. Leslie has triplets and runs the Midwest Regional Office of the National Park Service. By 2017, only Craig remains at the Parks Department. Ron's construction company builds apartments over Ann's old house, upsetting Leslie. Grizzle engages in data mining, forcing Ron to reconnect with Leslie and convince Grizzle to change their ways. Tom hires his old girlfriend Lucy to manage the bistro, and soon they're engaged. Tom experiences financial ruin, but finds success publishing a best-selling book on his failures. Ann and Chris have a second child, a daughter named Leslie, and plan to return to Pawnee. Ben appoints Gary Gergich interim mayor. He is re-elected until his death on the night of his 100th birthday. Ron tires of his company, so Leslie appoints him as superintendent of Pawnee National Park. In Washington, Leslie and Ben are both approached to run for governor of Indiana. Ben chooses to manage Leslie's campaign. Leslie is elected, but eventually leaves the role for an even bigger opportunity. And that's the story of Parks and Rec in 3 minutes. Bonus! This is the story of Eagleton in 3 seconds. Eagleton, birthplace of Lord Voldemort, was home to a bunch of rich snobby jerks who went bankrupt, bathing in bottled water, until the greasy denim-clad angels of Pawnee bailed out their HBO-subscribing asses by reabsorbing them back into the greatest city in Indiana, Pawnee forever. Hit those like and subscribe buttons, and we'll see everyone down at JJ's Diner real soon. Except maybe Mark. I wonder whatever happened to that guy.